Well, it's the end of yet another week, and here on this channel, that means one thing and one thing only. Every weekend, I post an episode of this series we do called Your Take Not Mine, where I turn to you, the viewers, to give me your hottest NBA takes of the week based on what's going on at the time, and I then choose my favorite submissions and discuss them in a video. This week, the conference finals have given us plenty of entertainment and action, so of course there's plenty for us to discuss as well. In order to submit your takes, I make a community post on either the day of or the day before the video, similar to the one that you see on your screen now, so if you want a chance to be featured in a future episode, be sure to stay on the lookout for that. Before we start though, it turns out about 61% of you watching right now aren't even subscribed to the channel, so please, if you enjoy the content, consider hitting the subscribe button, as not only does it help out a ton, but I would also very much appreciate it. Now with that being said, let's begin. The first take we'll be discussing comes to us from Patrick, and he says that he would rather build a team around players like Trae Young or Luka Doncic rather than Giannis Antetokounmpo. This one is certainly a hot take because Giannis is a two-time MVP winner, a winner of the Defensive Player of the Year award, and is without question one of the best players in the NBA. His production across the board is at a level that has been replicated very few times all time, and he truly impacts the game at an elite level in so many different ways. However, the reason why this take is likely coming about is because of his one glaring weakness being the fact that he's a poor shooter in an NBA era of basketball that emphasizes shooting more than ever before. Trae Young and Luka Doncic, on the other end, are some of the most promising young shot creators and playmakers the NBA has to offer right now, and there is zero question that they will be superstars in this league for a long time. Now, does this mean that they are better to build around for the long run than Giannis? It's not exactly an easy thing to determine, and the fact that the answer is unclear is a huge credit to how good Luka and Trae are, and is by no means meant to be a slight towards Giannis. Right now, Giannis is unquestionably the best player of the three and can truly be unstoppable when he puts his head down and gets to the rim. But Trae and Luka are both younger, neither are afraid of the big stage, having played some of the best basketball of their young careers in the playoffs so far, and they have a long career ahead of themselves that will assuredly be filled with success. I really don't think there's a wrong answer here, which shows that the future of the NBA is in very good hands. The next take we'll be discussing comes to us from FromADeal, and he says that Paul George isn't the same player as a second option and plays much better when he gets to be the number one option. So basically this take is insinuating that Paul George gets held back by Kawhi Leonard when he's healthy, and he can truly unleash himself when Leonard is out of the lineup, because ever since Kawhi Leonard suffered his injury, George has stepped into a bigger role on offense and has found more playoff success than he's had in quite some time recently. When Kawhi went down with the injury against the Jazz in the second round, most assumed that the Clippers' run would end right there, but George stepped up to the plate and played great to get the Clippers to their first ever conference finals appearance. George does deserve a ton of credit for this, and the days of people relentlessly clowning on Paul George should definitely be left in the past, but we also can't ignore the fact that the Clippers are currently down 3-1 in the series against the Phoenix Suns, and this is where the take kind of falls apart. George has not shot the ball very well so far in this series, and if Kawhi was playing, he would draw more attention to free George up for easier looks. Sure, George is probably more comfortable individually as a number one option, where he has more of a free reign to shoot the shots that he wants whenever he wants, but the team is undeniably better when Kawhi Leonard is healthy, and the idea of Kawhi holding Paul George back just isn't true. If anything, it's all mental with Paul George, because when he's playing with confidence, he's great, but now with a chance to make the finals, he's had a rough few shooting nights, which should have been alleviated in a number two role alongside Kawhi Leonard, who has proven to be able to handle the workload of a number one guy on a championship team. The next take we'll be discussing comes to us from Sean, and he says that the 76ers coaching was a bigger issue than many people are talking about, and Ben Simmons is more of a scapegoat than Doc Rivers. Now, I've discussed this topic in detail in a video I posted a few days ago, but in short, I do agree entirely with the premise of this take. Now, does that mean that Ben Simmons deserves no blame? Absolutely not. Ben's lack of assertiveness, passiveness, and unwillingness to look for his own shot in certain moments did make things more difficult than they had to be, and his historical woes from the free throw line were incredibly glaring and frustrating without a doubt. But despite all of that, the team was still finding consistent success when Ben was on the court, and they could have easily handled the Hawks in spite of his weaknesses. Where the 76ers truly fell apart was in their overall rotations, which definitely falls onto Doc Rivers for failing to make the appropriate adjustments. As I've said previously, the Sixers outscored their opponents by 18.8 points per 100 possessions in the playoffs when Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons were on the court, and when both of them were on the bench, which they both found themselves on the bench together quite a bit because Doc Rivers fell in love with bench lineups that consistently played awful. The team got outscored by 8.8 points per 100 possessions, which is a whole 27-point swing. The team would consistently build leads, only for the bench lineups to throw it away and give the other team momentum, and that, above all else, is why they fell apart. Yes, Ben Simmons has a lot of work to do with his free throws and changing his mentality in terms of attacking and aggression, but despite all of that, they still should have gotten the job done, and that falls on Doc Rivers. And finally, the last take we'll be discussing today comes to us from munibe, and he says that guys like Ben Simmons and Kristaps Porzingis won't actually be traded this offseason because their value is too low right now. Both of these players are guys that have found themselves in trade rumors from the second that their teams got eliminated from the playoffs, because they did both come up a bit short compared to what was expected of them, and teams do typically go into off seasons trying to get better when they're in the kind of situations that the 76ers and the Mavericks are both in right now. Both teams have a superstar ready to win, and they both also need legitimate sidekicks, so it makes sense. However, NBA GMs also aren't dumb for the most part, and they won't just give these guys away for pennies on the dollar. Because of this, I agree with this take, because even though it would probably be ideal to get upgrades for both of those players, upgrades may not be available, so you don't just trade guys for the sake of trading them. Unless a proposal comes along that genuinely makes the teams better, then neither player will be going anywhere, and especially with their trade stock so low right now, it would definitely be smarter to bring them both back and give them a chance to redeem themselves in the regular season again to try to regain some value that they lost. Both players will be going into the offseason motivated to come back better than ever because they know that they didn't play well enough in this year's playoffs, and just like we saw with Paul George last season, after being in a similar situation, it could work out in the long run. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below what you think about the takes we discussed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.